Alright, so yesterday we took a unit circle, and it is a unit circle because the radius is 1 unit, and we did all of the angles that have a reference angle of 30 degrees. And we found the side lengths of the triangle, and that in turn told us the ordered pairs. Well, now we want to go through and we want to mark where these angles are in radians as well as degrees. So we had our degrees down here, 30, 150, 210, and 330. Now we want to do our radians also. So this was a 30-degree angle, and now we want to see what that is in radians. So how do you change degrees to radians? Remember how we're going to multiply by pi over 180? So 30 over 180 reduces to 1/6. So this 30-degree angle in radians, it's pi over 6. And you want to be proficient in converting back and forth, but you also want to be able to think in radians and count in radians. So this much is pi over 6. And so then to this part here, can you see that's a second pi over 6? So this would be 2 pi over 6. Right here would be 3 pi over 6. 3 pi over 6 reduces to half, so that's your pi over 2. You know that. Then this would be 4 pi over 6, and then that makes this angle 5 pi over 6. So it was 150 degrees. We had marked the 150 degrees right there, and it's 5 pi over 6. And then if we keep counting around, this is 6 pi over 6. Well, 6 pi over 6 is just pi. And so then this angle is 7 pi over 6, which was the angle 210 degrees. And then this would be 8 pi over 6. This is 9 pi over 6, which reduces to 3 pi over 2. 10 pi over 6. So this guy is 11 pi over 6. And that was our 330 degrees. And then do you see if we go to here, that's 12 pi over 6, which is 2 pi. So we can count around the unit circle in pi over 6 increments. Alright, now we want to do the same thing on our purple unit circle. So on our purple unit circle, we were dealing with the reference angle of 60 degrees. And so this was a 60-degree angle. So 60 degrees converted to radians is pi over 3. So here's pi over 3. Then here's 2 pi over 3. And then you see when we come down here, this will be 3 pi over 3. 3 pi over 3 is 1 whole pi. And so then this is 4 pi over 3. And then this is 5 pi over 3. And then we get back around to start, which would be 6 pi over 3, and 6 pi over 3 is 2 pi. So here we're counting in increments of pi over 3. Alright, and then next we want to take the green unit circle that we've passed out. So, we've done a reference angle of 30. We've done a reference angle of 60. What other special right triangle do we know? 45, right? 45, 45, 90. So that's exactly what we're going to do on this one. So again, this is a unit circle. What makes it be a unit circle is the radius is equal to 1. So let's go in and look at our quadrants first. So a radius is any line segment that goes from the center to a point on the circle. So here on this x-axis, that is a radius. So right here at 0 degrees and 0 radians, that ordered pair would be 1, 0. 1 for the x, 0 for the y. Now if I go up to the y-axis, I know that that's 90 degrees. I know that that's pi over 2 in radians. But what's the ordered pair? That ordered pair is going to be 0, 1, because this line segment is also a radius of the circle. Alright, then coming over here to the negative side of the x-axis, this is 180 in degrees. It's pi in radians. And that is the ordered pair, negative 1, 0. Because this line segment is also a radius of the circle. And then finally coming down to the negative y-axis, this is 270 in degrees. It is 3 pi over 2. And the ordered pair would be 0, negative 1. X, Y. Alright, so we're going to come in and look at 45-degree angles. So when I measure an angle, remember this is my initial ray on the x-axis, and my angle is going to open up to 45 degrees, which is going to be this angle here. It's a 45-degree angle. Well, we're going to use special right triangles to determine what is this ordered pair right here. So if you'll grab a straight edge and go to this ordered pair and form a perpendicular line segment, I should say, so that you will form a 90-degree angle. So let's look at what kind of triangle we have. If this is 45 and this is 90, this angle has to also be 45 because the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So we're going to be using the relationship of a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Now, which of these three line segments do we already know the length of? The hypotenuse is 1. Because this hypotenuse is a radius of our unit circle. Alright, so on 45, 45, 90 triangles, if we start with a leg and we go to our hypotenuse, we multiply by the square root of 2. So if you start on the hypotenuse and go to a leg, what are we going to have to do? Divide. So I'm going to do this on a separate little sheet of paper. You either can see exactly what I'm doing, you might want to write this in your notes notebook as to how we got it. So this leg is going to be 1 divided by the square root of 2, because we're going from hypotenuse to leg. But we're not going to leave the answer like that. We have to rationalize our denominator. So we're going to multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2. This is the number 1. Multiply by 1, you don't change the value. 1 is the multiplicative identity. Multiplying fractions, that's no problem. Top times top. Bottom times bottom, square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So that means this leg is square root of 2 over 2, and the other leg is also square root of 2 over 2. Right? The two legs in a 45, 45, 90 triangle are congruent. So that means that our ordered pair, our x value is this length here, so it's square root of 2 over 2, and our y value is this length, and that's also square root of 2 over 2. And we're at 45 in degrees. Alright, so let's look where there's another reference angle of 45 degrees. You see here, this would be a 45-degree angle with the x-axis. So I could also make a triangle. This is my hypotenuse, it's 1. So my legs are going to be square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. These two triangles are congruent, right? They look congruent, but we can prove that they're congruent by geometry, because I know this is 45, and I know this side is 1, and I know this is 45. Same here. So I have angle, side, angle, congruent property. And if the triangles are congruent, then the corresponding parts are congruent. So I know that these have the same lengths as this other triangle. So my ordered pair here is negative square root of 2 over 2, and then square root of 2 over 2. Because my x value is negative and my y value is positive in the second quadrant. Oh, but how many degrees is this angle that we're talking about? Remember, 45 is the reference angle, but the angle that we're talking about starts here and goes around to this terminal ray. So remember, all the way to the x-axis is 180. We're not counting the 45. So if you do 180 subtract 45, you're at 135 degrees. The other way you can think about it is it's 90 plus 45. All right. So now, do you see here's the other 45 degrees? I think we can look now without even drawing the triangle. I mean, you can draw the triangle if you want. But this ordered pair is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, and then negative square root of 2 over 2. Because the x and the y are both negative in the third quadrant. But how many degrees is this? Remember, this is the angle that's starting here and going all the way around to this terminal ray. So it's 90 plus 45. So this is 225 degrees. Alright, and then we've got one more. And so this ordered pair is going to be square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. But remember, we're talking about this angle that starts at this initial ray and goes all the way around to this terminal ray. So you see that would be 360 for the whole circle minus 45. So this angle is at 315 degrees. Alright, so now the last thing we want to do on this circle is put all of these angles in radian form. So 90 degrees we know is pi over 2. 45 degrees is half of that. So what's half of a half? It's a quarter, right? If I give Simone half of a candy bar, right? Here's my candy bar. And I break it in half, and I give Simone this half, and then Simone decides to break her piece in half and share it with Zalia, then Zalia would get 1/4. So if you have a half, and then you cut that in half, you get a 1/4. So that means this 45 degrees is pi over 4. So now let's count around the unit circle in pi over 4. Here's pi over 4. This is 2 pi over 4. Well, 2 pi over 4 is a fraction that simplifies to pi over 2, right? So there we are, pi over 2. So then over here, this is going to be 3 pi over 4. And then one more would be 4 pi over 4. But again, 4 pi over 4 is equal to pi, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So then we go around again, and this would be 5 pi over 4. Then another 45 degrees puts us at 6 pi over 4. Well, if I'm on 6 pi over 4 and I simplify this fraction, won't I be at 3 pi over 2? And then one more, so this is 6 pi over 4, so this must be 7 pi over 4. And then when I get back around, I'll be at 8 pi over 4, but 8 pi over 4 is 2 pi. All the way around the unit circle. Alright, so I am going to pull up Canvas, and actually if you would pass the glue sticks around and glue this in your journal, and then as you're waiting for glue, get out your computer, and I'm going to show you where we're going to be on Canvas. Alright, so I'm going to add the notes for today over here. But if you go back to Monday, so you need to memorize the unit circle. And this website here is like a little interactive thing to quiz yourself and help you memorize. So let me just show you how it works. It is annoying because it has some pop-ups on it, and you're just going to have to close those out. But sometimes that's what you have to suffer through for free stuff. So if you scroll down, you get to this that says Start Game. So let's just look at what you have. You're measuring your degrees. Out here on the outside, inside the parentheses, that's where ordered pairs go. All these blue boxes, yes, that's what you have to memorize. You have to memorize the ordered pairs. You have to memorize the angles. So if we start the game, and it says, where is the square root of 2 over 2 minus square root of 2 over 2? So I know that's a 45 degree reference angle. My x has to be positive, and my y has to be negative, so that must be this guy right here. Alright, where is 135 degrees? Well, that's 90 plus 45. That's right there. Where's 45 degrees? Oh, there's an easy one. Okay, pop up, go away. Negative square root of 2 over 2, so x is negative, y is positive. You're here. Where is 0 or 2 pi? So 2 pi is a full circle, so it's right here. Where is 0, negative 1? Okay, I'm going to get this one wrong on purpose. 0, negative 1, here. Wrong, please try again. So I said, oh, 0, negative 1's down here. It's going to mark it in yellow because I got it right on the second try. Okay? So you have to memorize everything on here. Playing this game is how I want you to get started on that work. So go on Canvas and click that link so you know how to access the game. Alright. Then besides the game, you do what works for you for memorizing. Some of you might want to make flashcards. You could build this into a Quizlet. You might just stare at it for a while. You might just say them out loud. What helps you to memorize? That's what you're doing for homework.